If you enjoy watching these scary videos with me, then smash the like and subscribe so I see you in the next one.
Blowing from a gun is a form of execution characterized by tying the victim to the mouth of a cannon, which is then discharged, causing the person's gruesome death. This method has been documented as early as the 16th century and was employed as a means of execution until the 20th century. Portuguese colonialists utilized this method during the 16th and 17th centuries across their empire. The Mughal Empire also employed blowing from a gun as a form of execution throughout the 17th and into the 18th century, particularly targeting rebels. In the Indian subcontinent, the destruction of the body and scattering of the remains over a wide area served a religious purpose, as it prevented Hindus and Muslims from performing the necessary funeral rites. This extended the punishment beyond death for believers, as it denied them the proper rituals associated with their faith. Blowing from a gun exemplifies the extreme severity and cruelty with which capital punishment was
These are videos you need to see before you die. Okay, so did you know when a whale dies, it sometimes falls to the bottom of the ocean floor called a whale fall, and their corpse creates a complex ecosystem for countless deep-sea organisms. Well, the video I'm about to show you is exactly that, which a research submarine discovered, and it shows many organisms enjoying this whale's homemade ecosystem. Here's the video, and it's crazy.
Whale fall. Here we go, baby. Okay,
Yes. Yeah, dinner is served.
Oh,
that's not bacterial, man.
No, they are worms. Look at the blubber on the right side.
It's not even digested all the way. This is so good.
Definitely, where food is so limited, I would imagine scavenging is a great strategy. Your food doesn't run away.
Alright, so if you guys didn't know, on August 18th, we are getting a Dead by Daylight inspired Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game. In this game, you're either able to take on the roles of one of the Slaughter family members, or you're able to take on the roles of one of their victims. Now, this game is pretty much like the original movie from 1974. If you're one of the Slaughter family members, you gotta try to snatch up everybody and kill them, or if you're one of the victims, you gotta try to stay out of the family member's reach. If you decide to play as one of the Slaughter family members, you're gonna either be Leatherface, Johnny, Cook, Sissy, or the Hitchhiker. Now, I don't know about you guys, but 9 times out of 10, if I'm a fucking Slaughter family member, I'm gonna be Leatherface, okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, say Texas Chainsaw Massacre isn't your cup of tea. Say you don't want to play that. You want to play something similar to Friday the 13th, but not that. I got you, because sometime this year, I don't know when, but sometime this year, we're supposed to be getting a Killer Clowns from Outer Space video game. You can either play as one of the clowns and use a fucking popcorn bazooka or a cotton candy gun, or you can be one of the victims and get killed by a popcorn bazooka or a candy gun.
No fucking way. Yo, that film's a classic. If you ain't never seen that film yet, you need to watch it. 80s gold.
Normal looking photos that have a disturbing backstory. Ronaldo Dogsa, a politician in the Philippines, took a picture of his family right before he was assassinated on New Year's Day in 2011. The man in the back shot him twice while his family was forced to watch. The man holding the puppy is
Whoa! Oh shit! No fucking way. The guy in the back. I thought the guy in the back was part of the photo. I thought he was just photobombing, posing. Oh shit.
The man holding the puppy is Yukio Araki, a kamikaze pilot who just one day later would crash into the USS Brian, killing 66 of the crew members and taking his own life. Yukio was only 17 years old, knowing completely well that he'd be going to his death the next day. The smiling man in this photo is Nazi Joseph Goebbels, who is in a 1933 League of Nations meeting, and in the next photo, his expression completely changes. His expression changes from cheerful to hatred because someone told him that the photographer was of Jewish descent. This seemingly normal photo shows 3 men in judo attire. The man on the right, however, is Osama bin Laden, the terrorist responsible for the 9/11 attacks on New York City. The girl wearing the veil is Elizabeth Smart, who was kidnapped for 9 months by the man on the far right. This photo was taken at a party the kidnapper crashed with Elizabeth, and she was forced to wear this veil at all times to keep her from being recognized in public.
The term 4 horses, or disruption, involves using 4 horses to pull a person's arms and legs in opposite directions, resulting in their limbs being torn off. During the Renaissance and early modern period, regicide, the killing of a monarch, was considered one of the most heinous crimes. The 4 horses was reserved for this crime. Francois Ravaillac saw himself as a divine instrument and believed that by killing King Henry IV, he was fulfilling a divine mission to save France from heresy. However, His act of regicide was widely condemned, and he was subjected to a gruesome execution. Before being drawn and quartered, he was scalded with burning sulfur, molten lead and boiling oil and resin, and his flesh was torn by pincers. Finally, he was tied to horses and dismembered. Similarly, Mikhail Pekarsky's attempt to assassinate King Sigismund III.
Fucking hell. They had way too much spare time on their hands back then, boy, to come up with this shit.
I gave AIDS and hepatitis B to all my patients because I did not clean my equipment. I'm Scott Harrington, an experienced and renowned dentist. Throughout my career, I've treated thousands of patients and gained expertise in the field of dentistry. However, in 2013, my professional life took a devastating turn. Health authorities inspected my dental practice after a patient was diagnosed with hepatitis C. Shockingly, their investigation revealed multiple violations of hygiene and infection control standards within my office. I was accused of endangering the health of my patients by using unsterilized instruments, performing unsafe procedures, and employing staff who lacked proper training in hygiene practices. Consequently, thousands of patients were urged to undergo screenings for hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and HIV. This scandal led to the temporary suspension of my dental license and a lawsuit for medical negligence. I was profoundly disturbed and taken aback by these allegations, as I never intended to cause harm to my patients. After a lengthy legal battle, I eventually managed to regain my dental license and reopen my practice. If you're in need of dental care, don't hesitate to visit me. I'm here to help with all your oral health needs.
One of you taking a fucking piss. You dirty cunt. Fucking hell. Filthy.
You guys sent me a very scary Ouija board story, and I am so excited to share it.
Here we go. What could go wrong?
So the story comes from a follower by the name of Taylor, and it occurred when they were 12 to 13 years old. So when Taylor was around 12 to 13, they and their mom moved into their grandparents' house when their parents split. Pretty soon after they moved in, some weird things started happening in the house. Weird things such as hearing movement in the kitchen, walking by and no one being in there but all of the cabinets being open. Taylor eventually went to their grandma and was like, "Stuff is happening in your house. Are you experiencing this too?" Taylor's grandma then explained that long ago someone in their family had played a Ouija board and did not properly say goodbye, or say goodbye at all.
As they do.
And ever since then, that house has been extremely haunted because they didn't close that portal. 5 months go by and things are getting increasingly worse for Taylor. They were having nightmares so dark that when they shared it with their mom, the mom considered taking them to the hospital. They would see shadow figures running around from room to room that would look like people, would look like dogs, would look like birds. They considered moving at one point because things just got so bad. But here's when things got the worst. So Taylor was sitting in bed with the lights off and looks in the corner and notices a shadowy figure standing there staring. Taylor described the feeling that she got from this thing as anything but human. Taylor started to pray and hope that it would go away, but instead it charged. And then quickly disappeared mid-charge. The next morning, Taylor would find 3 scratches down her arm that were not there before. After that, they decided to have a medium come and look at the house, bless it, and just try to help things out. The medium informed them that there were portals opened by the Ouija board that would never ever close completely.
Damn.
The medium was also able to tell Taylor the exact experience that they had had in their bedroom where the shadow was staring at them without being told at all. The medium said that it was an attachment to Taylor and helped get rid of it. The hauntings are still going on. They have the house cleansed and blessed, but it always comes back. And that was the end of the story. That is terrifying.
Yeah, that's why you don't fuck with Ouija boards, people. I mean, unless you know what you're doing, of course. Which you don't.
Telling y'all, I know I'm never gonna tell anyone to never use a Ouija board, but I cannot stress.
What the fuck did I just watch?
popular movie, Three Billboards, that's out right now, is the story of Kathy Page. Kathy Page was found in a ditch in the front seat of her car, about 100 yards from her house, right? But she was found deceased. When the officers went and looked at it, they thought it was a little bit suspicious because none of the sodas had spilled. She seemed to have a broken nose, but there was no blood in the car. And she had a blade of grass on her back that they thought meant that she was actually dragged and then put in the car. So they went to her house, knocked on the door, talked to her husband, Steve. They asked him if he knew where she was. The officer said that he looked in the direction of where her car was and answered, I don't know. That night she was supposed to meet up with a guy. Her father ended up actually buying these billboards and putting up all these things about the case so that like he just wanted this solved. Like they knew it was him. And the family actually had video recording of him going to Kathy's grave and kicking flowers off of it. Her dad said that those billboards will stay up until justice is served or he dies.
Wow.
And that's the true story.
Yeah, that shit's sus.
This comment is in reference to this book that I was just reading, Playground. For those not in the know, the movie is basically about these kids that are all experimenting on this playground, but the playground is designed to unalive them. In like Saw Trap fashion, unalive them. I can't speak for everyone, but I've been reading and watching horror ever since I was a very young kid. Like my first horror film ever, I was 3 years old, and I started reading adult horror novels as early as the 4th grade. And most of the horror that I consumed book-wise was from a child's perspective. Lots of Stephen King books are written this way, actually, because to me that felt more real. It felt way more relatable than horrors that was with adults. And even now, as an adult, you sympathize with children so much more in horror novels because everybody knows what it's like to be a kid. Everybody remembers what it was like to be that innocent and to have so much ahead of you. So I think the reason why a lot of horror is centered around kids like this is because it's real. It has a lot of heart.
The weirdest things ever sold on the internet, part 1. Firstly, Scarlett Johansson made an appearance on The Tonight Show in 2008 where she blew her nose into a tissue. She then put this used tissue in a bag, signed it, and then listed it on eBay. The auction went viral and the tissue sold for a whopping $5,300. In 2008, two sisters from Virginia, Melissa and Emily, discovered a cornflake that was shaped exactly like the state of Illinois. They put the cornflake up on eBay and after an intense bidding process, Monty Kerr, the owner of TriviaMania.com, purchased the cornflake for $1,350. And in 2006, a man from Australia listed the entire country of New Zealand for sale on eBay. The listing started at 1 cent, but after 6,000 views and 22 bids, the price rose to $3,000. However, before the sale went through, eBay intervened and took down the auction.
That's hilarious.
My Haunted Hotel is a 400-year-old haunted attraction, which... My Haunted Hotel is a 400-year-old haunted attraction which earned the title of the UK's most haunted hotel. The building was constructed in 1622 and now opens its doors to guests who are brave enough to spend the night. 16 cameras are scattered throughout the building, and just recently, they managed to catch something chilling. A ghostly apparition quickly darted past the window. This entity appeared to be glowing as it moved from right to left. It's also worth noting that this is a second-story window, so it's not possible for anyone to simply walk by. The owners of the hotel are stumped and can't explain what was caught, leading them to believe that this is proof of the many spirits that... On a TikTok account that no longer exists, a video was posted of what appears to be a haunted doll. One day, while a young girl was recording herself playing with her favorite doll, nothing seemed out of the ordinary, until suddenly the young girl hears something that caught her attention. Then this happened.
So, Kiliana, what?
As soon as the young girl looked to her left,
I hate that shit.
Doll can be seen turning its head to look at her. The girl immediately noticed this and quickly ran to tell her mom.
She sounded terrified too. Yeah, I think that's me done for the night.